All right, let's dive into a really beautiful folktale today. It comes from the vast steppes, and it's all about a young girl, her grandmother, and the magic that's literally woven into the fabric of their culture. It's this powerful idea that our stories and traditions, they aren't just dusty things from the past. They're living, breathing spirits that we need to keep alive. So, let's get into it.
So the whole thing kicks off with this incredibly profound piece of wisdom from our hero's grandmother. This one line really sets the stage for everything. It tells us that those patterns and designs in traditional art, well, they're not just for decoration. They're basically containers, packed with history, with hopes, and with dreams. So let's meet our hero. Her name is Aiaru. And when our story starts, she's living what seems like a pretty ordinary life. But her imagination, that is anything but ordinary.
So who is Aiaru? Well, she's this super smart, creative kid who lives out on the steppe. She absolutely loves hanging out with her grandmother, just drawing the traditional ornaments that have been passed down for generations. But here's the thing. She's not just mindlessly copying shapes. She is deeply, deeply curious. She just has this feeling that there's a secret, a deeper meaning hidden inside every single curve and line. And that curiosity, especially after what her grandmother told her, it plants this little seed in Aiaru's mind. And that seed, well, it blossoms into a dream that becomes her official call to a truly magical adventure.
I mean, can you imagine that? The world that you create with your own two hands suddenly becomes your reality. This is that moment, that threshold, where the story just leaps from the ordinary world straight into the fantastic. The line between Aiaru's art and her actual life just completely vanishes. So, inside this dream, Aiaru finds herself in a world literally made from the patterns she loves to draw. And this world is anything but empty.
She meets the inhabitants of this magical place, the Ornament Fairies, or Oriu. Now, these aren't just random characters. They are the living, breathing embodiment of the patterns themselves, and they recognize Aiaru right away. They don't see a stranger. They welcome her as their creator, as their friend. And as she journeys with these fairies, her whole adventure becomes a kind of classroom. They teach her these really profound lessons about what it really means to be brave, why it's so important to be kind, and maybe most importantly, about the incredible value of respecting her own heritage. It just goes to show you, the patterns aren't just art. They are carriers of real wisdom. And this is the question that's right at the heart of the whole story. It's a wonderful, vibrant world she's found, for sure. But it is also incredibly fragile, and Aiaru is about to find out just how fragile it really is.
Suddenly, Aiaru's journey takes a really dark turn. She discovers a threat that puts not just her new friends, but their entire magical world in jeopardy. And the crisis isn't some monster or a classic villain. No, it's something much quieter and way more sinister. It's forgetting.
What's so interesting here is how this slide just perfectly visualizes the core problem. On one side, you see the patterns as they're meant to be, totally vibrant, alive, buzzing with magic, because their stories are being told. But then, you look at the other side and you see them just fading, losing their light, disappearing. And why? It's because the traditions they stand for are being neglected.
And the fairies themselves, they just lay it all out there. They state the stakes in the clearest way possible. Their entire existence is tied to human memory, to human practice. If people in the waking world stop telling the stories, stop creating the art, their world will simply, well, cease to exist.
So, faced with this absolutely heartbreaking reality, Aiaru reaches the emotional climax of her journey. She finally understands her unique place in all of this, and she makes a really, really powerful choice. So the crucial point here is that it's not a magic spell or some big fight that saves the day. It's a promise, a heartfelt vow from a child to remember and to share. In that one moment, Aiaru accepts her responsibility to be a storyteller, a guardian of her culture. And as soon as she makes that promise, the fading world starts to shine brightly again.
And this just brilliantly illustrates her complete transformation. When she wakes up, she's not just a girl who likes to draw anymore. She has a mission. She draws now with this totally new, profound understanding, and crucially, she shares the story and the meaning behind every single pattern she creates. She actually becomes known in her village as the Little Master, a true keeper of the flame.
And so, that brings us to the central moral of this beautiful tale. It's such a simple but powerful message. Heritage isn't about being stuck in the past. By honoring and respecting our culture, we preserve the wisdom of everyone who came before us. And by doing that, we create a richer, more meaningful, and much brighter future for everyone.
Aiaru's story really reminds us that culture lives in the telling, and it leaves us with a question to think about. What are the patterns, the stories, the traditions in your own life? What magic is just waiting for you to rediscover it and to share it? Thanks for joining me on this one.